Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is the introduction to episode 100 of Comedy Guy. I can't believe it. We made to 100 episodes. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for being into it. Thank you for sticking with me through this. Also for me to sticking with this, that this is still something going on after 100 episodes. I'm quite proud of this and happy about this. I also reflect I had some big gaps in the middle where I didn't produce and I wasn't doing it, and that's the changes that I'm trying to make in my life right now. So in a moment we got Dagmar Lamp coming on here, Estonian journalist, podcaster. She's funny. I just like talking to her. I think she's got an interesting job. She's got an interesting podcast, and we just banter and chat for an hour about assholes in the workplace and the work that she's doing, the podcasting, different news stories, a bit about media. It's just fun banter and kind of what I wanted this podcast to be from the beginning. Yeah, guys, 100 episodes. It's one of those things, that exploration into creativity, that how do you just keep on going? And I tell young comedians, just grind away. It kind of is, to me, literally all about the grind, just turning up and doing it night after night after night. I can feel that with stand-up. So we've been doing 2 weeks now, or more than 2 weeks of stand-up shows. I've been up there. I got a new set. I got about 10 minutes that I've written. It's coming along nicely. And it's the first, new set that I've written in, I did 5 minutes last year. So I've already doubled my output for this year. It's the first, and beyond that, it's the first new set, stand-up set that I've had in literally years. And this, being able to do this is the culmination of years of work, not because I've been writing stand-up for years, because I got myself into a situation that was unavoidable and not bad, which was Comedy Estonia grew and grew, and I was the CEO in charge, and okay, right, I got this startup to run, I got a company to run, I got people to look after, employees and artists and talent to manage, and that's just where the thing grew to and how it goes. And then I understood that I was not going to be the CEO to take it to the next level. And as I understand, that happens in companies. The CEO that starts the company isn't necessarily the company that is able to take it to that next growth stage. Some are better at hustling than others. And for me, I understood that I was no longer able to do all that CEO work and be an artist as well, because it takes time to be creative. You need space. You can't just schedule it from 3 to 4 in the afternoon. It needs the free space. And I think particularly when you're something like you're in a leadership role or a management role, it does take all your time. It should take all your time. It should take all of your thinking. If you are the CEO or the leader of a group and you like that group and you want to make it happen, it should fucking preoccupy you. And all you want to think about is how to make that group better, how to make those people grow, how to make sure this group will survive and thrive, whatever that group might be. And that is not impossible to combine with creativity, but as the workload goes up, it's certainly harder. And that's what I faced. And that's why I dropped off doing stand-up, because it was just too hard to carve out that time as well as the responsibility. And I think I've known this intuitively for a number of years, but till it became real was when I understood that I would like merrily to take over as CEO of this company that I co-started 10 years ago and have been leading on my own for a number of years now. And then merrily, as she was like the one person that I wanted to take over, the one person that I wanted to take over, and I think the one person that would be accepted by the comedians and the team as well. And I think that's an important thing to think about when transitioning leaders in any organization, is what do the troops think? What do the employees think? What do the people think? You can't just switch out the CEO and all of a sudden it's a new person, and like without any consultation of the people who are under that person. And I felt that in our group, we needed to promote internally, as they say, not just bring in some outside person. And Merrily has the respect of the crew, has the respect of everybody, knows what's up, but she was on the maternity leave, was having a little baby, and the little baby, was out for a while, and so she did her year, and so I had to wait a year. I was exhausted, worn out from running, hustling to get Comedy Estonia going over the last 10 years, being the performer, being the CEO, and then the one person that I'm like, this is the person, but she just had a kid and is on the maternity leave for a year. You can't change that. She's not done anything wrong. That's the way things are. So I just had to hunker down and do what I had to do and get through that year the best I could. And then I waited, and then that time came. And Merrily's running Comedy Estonia now. I think she's doing a great job. I think she's providing that input that I was unable to, being really worn out from the job. And so I love that she's there. The comedians respect her. Everyone's respecting her work. And that's led me to have the time now that I don't have as many responsibilities. And I've been able to write some stand-up. I've been able to take that time to go back to being creative again. And even, I guess the point of this talk about creativity is resistance. And no matter what you want to do, no matter what creative thing you're trying to do, there's always resistance. I'll just scroll a bit. I'll just look at Instagram. I'll put it off for another day. I won't do it. And I had no more excuses left. If I keep putting it off and not writing stand-up and not devoting the time to creativity, there's none. I literally moved my world around and waited a year and struggled through that for the correct scenario. And now that correct scenario has arrived, I have zero excuses left. And I had to just get to it and face myself. And even running a company full of creative people, even when creativity is at the very core of what we do every day at Comedy Estonia, I still had that internal resistance. No, that's shit. That joke shit. Nah, you don't want to do that bit. Nah, you don't want to. And I know it. I know it academically. I know it, whatever the opposite of academically is. But I still felt it, and I still had to overcome it. And I still had to face up to that. And I also had to face up to the idea that what creativity is not directly making money, but it's something you've got to do. So when, being the CEO, sure, I'm doing jobs, making deals, I'm the deal president, making it happen. Then you can say like, oh yeah, I've earned my money. I've earned my wage that day. What's my job now? My job now is to write stand-up, make podcasts. What the fuck? That shit ain't making money. This is not directly tied to income. Dare I go away and try to do something creative in a time when, shit's tight. There's been a year without any shows, without any income. Now is the time I choose to sit back and hire somebody else so I can, write some stupid jokes. But it's all resistance. It's all the brain. And even me, when I'm surrounded by some most amazing creativity, that resistance still seeks in, and I've still had to overcome it. So I'm still telling myself, it's okay. Chill out, make your podcasts, go to your show. That's what's important right now. And that's what I've been doing for 2 weeks, doing shows. And I'm happy we're inside. After 2 weeks of doing shows outside, we're all fucking really happy to not be outside anymore. We love that we did that. We wanted to do shows, but it's so... I was listening to tapes, like a tape. How fucking old am I? A recording on my digital recorder of shows that even last week we're doing at Bottic. And in Bottic, in Kopli, it's like it's very nice. Like it's a courtyard. It's as good as you might think an outdoor venue can get. but it's still outdoor. It's a garden. And I could hear when I listened to that back to that recording, I was projecting because it's a garden. I'm going over here and I'm talking. And even though there's amplification, there's not intimacy. And I could hear myself projecting. I could hear myself almost halfway to yelling doing these outdoor gigs. And it reminded me of when we're inside in a small venue. The people are right there in front of you. I have tone. I have volume to work with up and down. I have so much more that I can do with my voice. And I realized how much I liked that and how much I missed that form of communication. And that's why Comedy Estonia, you may see that we're doing open mics and we're often doing 2 shows in a night. There's an early show and a late show. And I understand if it's an early show, particularly sometimes it's got to be like 5 o'clock with the regulations to end by the correct time. Sometimes we're doing an early show at 5 o'clock. Not that many people turn up. And that's cool. We actually really like that. It's actually really fun to do a show, even if only 10 people turn up. Cool. So we had 3 people turn up to one show because it was like 5 o'clock outside Botic when it was cold and rainy last week. But like 3 people were there, comedians all gathered around, and it was fun. So you need to practice. I guess that was my point. I can't imagine just writing some stand-up and getting up there and doing it now. I need to grind away every night at this to get it better. That's the process. And it is a grind. It's good. It's not good, but it's good. It's hard. It's actually, you're a stand-up comedian going to shows, whatever. What is this guy? You're not the CEO anymore. You must be easy. Like, it's actually quite demanding to do a couple of shows, drive around, do the next show, keep writing. But that's the grind, and I love the grind. All right, guys. Let's go on. I've done my podcast spiel. We've got the 100th episode. It's just some good old-fashioned fun banter with my friend Dagmar Lamp. Let's go.
Check. I'm so prepared. Usually I'm very prepared, and then today you were just like, nah, fuck it, let's just do it. So I decided to not be like...
Thank you for this gift, because I would have... I haven't tried this. I have experience with talking before, because I need to sometimes open up with those cop guys who come to my crime podcast, and they tell the coolest stories before we start recording, and then they're like, yeah, as I told before, and then start another story, but they forgot to tell the first story, which was actually cooler. So,
so you're doing that with, okay, maybe the police. Because I've been doing that with some of our other guests. Like we've been getting, because now I'm getting Tim to help me book guests, because he's like a reasonable individual who knows how to talk to people and shit. Not me, I'm like. So he books them. He knows people. I don't talk to anybody. Tim talks to people, and he knows people around town. So he's booking interesting people. But that I've discovered, like, regular citizen. Like there's there's a balance there, that maybe one drink, just 15 minutes or something, just some warm up, and then head to the studio. Of course.
But we have history. We can bounce off of.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved when you were just like, nah, we're doing it. Fuck it. I got no time for this shit. I was like, cool, let's do it. Which is why I wanted to kick off this episode and remind myself, this is episode 100. 100.
Oh my god, I'm fucking proud to be on episode 100. I'm so proud of you, baby. I remember when you started, you had only 5 episodes, and then there was like few weeks in between, and I was thinking, what is this human being doing with his podcast? And then I told you that maybe you should try putting out podcasts regularly, and you're like, I never thought about that. So are you now doing this regularly, or are we already shooting?
Yes, we're good.
So are you doing this regularly now?
Am I doing this regularly? Yes, once a week. There should have been an episode today. So, there was a delay from last week, so I thought, fuck it, I'll just put up this week's one today or tomorrow morning or something. So that'll do. Usually it's Wednesday. They're coming out every Wednesday. I've got stuff going on now. We've made it to 100, so thanks everyone for keeping on going with me. It's been tough, things are terrible, but just, you've got to do anything. You've got to just keep on doing it time and time again. And I don't know if that is something that has been more intuitive to you working in media already? Like, that's how it works. That's the nature of your game. You've got to keep turning out stuff regularly.
Doing things and turning up. Well, it has been very tough. We met a year ago in the height of what we thought is awful. And then this year happened. But it was very, and as you say, stuff, but it is tough. And all our own worlds we are the leading actors of our movies. And it's normal to feel the weight of it all. And not to compare yourself to other tragedies all the time. And it has been fucking awful. And I was drinking so much last spring, it was awful. and then, but what saved me was this podcast I started, I don't remember if I already started when I was here.
Which one's that?
We started in the end of April. So, and that was my way of just connecting with people regularly, or my friend, and doing some research into interesting paranormal cases, interesting true crime cases from the first Republic of Estonia we had back in 1930s, because crime rate back then was through the roof. Everyone had guns.
Okay. It's just normal.
It's just normal.
Why? They had a gun? Yeah, sure. Yeah. Of course. Why don't you have a gun? We've all got guns. Why haven't you got a gun?
Yeah, we are failing in this regard, very much so. This saved me, and I have noticed this now, that a lot of people, especially creative people, have found new ways of keeping themselves grounded, giving something back, and also keeping themselves level-headed and cool. And also, everyone drank so much. Now they're all coming out of woodworks and saying, yeah.
Because I'm not feeling the party vibe right now with sort of, now it seems like even the last days, really the opening has progressed and fast, and all of a sudden this morning, suddenly the government's like, yeah, if your theatre show goes beyond 10 p.m, don't worry about it. That's the government's policy. Don't worry about it. 30 minutes is fine. Was it a good show? It's all right. That's it. So it's so, and I think in my mind, I don't know if it was more wishful thinking, that I thought bam, it's gonna explode.
But it did last spring, didn't
it? Exactly, it did.
It was June 5th, I remember, because we had a party in the office, and we decided to, because it was the first night where the bars were open, and we came here to Telliskivi and Balti. It was horrible, because we went to this horrible bar with 20 people from our editorial, and later I was
20 people from Postumies. I can't imagine a worse bar to be in. Sorry.
It was from Elo 24 as well, so it was fun.
Oh Christ, just fucking send the nukes in. Get that Israeli thing going on here, the Iron Dome. We've got the target, okay? Just tell the Israelis, loads of Hamas in there.
God, I love this name, Iron Dome. It's fabulous.
Oh, it's so hardcore. Yeah. Iron Dome. What is this thing? It just fucking shoots down some missiles.
Yeah, but anyway, we all partied like insane persons would after being locked up for so long. And we got lucky, no one got sick, but the party was, we were all close together, other bar, patrons were there, and everyone was dancing and sweating and drinking. Well, as you do. I don't remember it much anymore because that might have been my last party. but still. And now I don't feel it similarly, yeah.
There's something up. I don't know what it is.
Even though I have my vaccine and I want to go.
One or two? You got two.
I know.
Okay,
I am the Iron Dome.
I only got one. Yeah, but how many weeks then? It's the weeks? How long since you got the second one?
2.
Oh, okay, you're coming into this.
Yeah.
Because they do things like people have got 2, but then they're like, no, but it was fucking 8 days ago, and it's not until 9 days that we count them as immune.
And if you fell sick during this 3-week period, you're fucked. I've heard, but I'm fine. And I would love to go on I just would love to have a party, go to a party. Or go to a normal date. I had a date last night.
Ooh.
And actually I have gone now on few dates, and they have all been in open air I almost went to the zoo with this guy. I would have really loved this, but I was kind of like under the weather. But yesterday we had this date, which was really great. But it was also again in the open air, and you walk in the beach, and it's supposed to be romantic, I guess. Well, it kind of was because he was great, but still, like, what happened to this old ways of connecting over getting very, very drunk and then seeing if you still like each other in the end of this process? Or maybe it's just that I'm pushing 40 now, and it's just like, you are old, you know.
Yeah, I'm a bit older than that. You can't. But it's too cold outside. I mean, it's just too fucking cold. And we, for 2 weeks now, we've been able to do open mics. This is the first week that we can do open mics inside. Because now for 2 weeks we did shows outside, and we're so fucking sick of outside.
It's so cold.
Yeah, I know. At first we're like, yeah, you know, ready to go, and we asked for it. We understand we asked it, but after 2 weeks, I am so cold, so sick of being cold on a backstage, trying to do that. And I'm listening to recordings of myself at outside venues like Garden or whatever, and you just hear me going, "Hi, yes, oh!" Like I'm projecting, and I'm cold, and I just think everything like. My instincts tell me this is dangerous. Like I should have a spear or something fending. And it's been so nice to be inside and intimate and just, you know, talk and connect.
Yeah, the intimacy. This is the key word here, I think, because when our topic should be how to not be an asshole, and this also when you're outside and everything is so clinical and you lack this intimacy. That's very easy to put up a front, sure. And you don't know if anyone you're interacting with is actually an asshole. And I would very, very much like to avoid assholes if I can, okay. Especially when I'm dating. But well, of course, there are very many instances when you can't avoid assholes.
Sure, in every stage of your life, you meet someone, you haven't sorted them out. Those are human beings. We have instincts that help us understand something about a person.
But you know one thing about instincts is that you also have hormones, and sometimes those hormones will make your instincts go stand in the corner. I don't want to listen to you right now. That sucks.
So okay, so you believe that in the sober light of day afterwards, you think I should have known with that person. I was just feeling a bit frisky or something like that. This is where we're going with this. I
don't know where we're going with this because I had a great date last night and my head is still also full moon. As I said, I'm a bit frazzled. But
second time you mentioned the full moon, I'm not buying it. Is it the full moon?
It is, and okay. It's also eclipse. It's not visible in Estonia, but it's.
Okay, we'll just believe it. That's the worst kind of egomang shit. Is that we can't even see it in Estonia. We don't even know if that's a thing. Are we allowed? But no, Igor's got the calendar lined up.
Somewhere it's happening.
Yeah, somewhere it's happening.
Okay, no astrology. Got it. Okay. Anyway, but yeah. A lack of this, our normalcy has made it so difficult to spot assholes, I think. Because we kind of all are a bit more assholey now. Because, during this year, I have, very, very, I have done some spiritual growth and looked at my dark sides. And it was horrifying, it was great, I have grown. And now I know even more acutely than ever, I'm aware of kinds of persons I don't want in my life, okay. Which makes me probably more assholey. I'm even more keen to cut the ties if, I feel like it's not worth my time. You know what I mean? And sure. And people who have been stuck inside for so long, they hated it at first, a lot of people did, and now they're kind of like, yeah, okay, I know I can go outside, but I just need 15 minutes to myself if that's possible. Give me that.
That's what I think's happening with we were talking about the bang of going outside, and I think that's it. I think now after a year, we're all just like bears taking some time to come out of the hibernation. Like last year, we were just real fresh, right? It only been a few months, and we were now we're...
We were so young and hopeful last year.
It was put to me that a couple of days ago that the reason apparently this season loose jeans are in because we all wore pajamas for a year.
Oh, okay.
And
I thought it was because of the
we're fat.
pounds.
Okay, we're all fat. And we've all worn jeans for the last year and no one wants to buy tight shit anymore.
Well, tight shit is very uncomfortable.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I got the... Yeah, I'm told I'm too old. Apparently all the... I don't know where the fuck they are after millennials. All the Billie Eilish generation, they're all wearing the hair and the flowy jeans and the Gen Z whatever. And like, that's cool. I remember, we all followed Kurt Cobain the same way. Yes, Billy is the Kurt of this generation. Cool, right on. And I looked as stupid as that. Like, they look fucking stupid with their hair. And then I read even like what these kids want to do is they're like, no, apart at the side... That's old millennial.
Oh my god. First of all, I am old millennial and have you seen...
How old did you say you were? 40?
I'm pushing 40.
Pushing
it's 3
40.
years away.
Okay.
But have you seen me with no side part? Because it's very subtle, but it's there. And it's horrible if it's like in the middle.
Yes.
You would look so stupid.
So I have photo evidence of this, of being 16 and 17 and having it right down the middle like that. And then
Koit Toome style. Koit Toome.
Yeah. Oh, me and Koit would have been that. We went to the same hairdresser. Yes. Brother from another mother on the other side of the world. Hair, like the mushroom top around the top there, part down the middle. These are the sins that the children are destined to repeat over and over again.
That's horrible. You would think that if you would like make your mistakes, you could tell your kids, don't make my mistakes.
And now we have photo evidence. Like it's like we have enough evidence now. It's not like, oh, let's doing it again. New. Yeah, right. It's sort of like 30 years later going, oh, Hitler wasn't that bad. Like we know it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, talking about assholes. I was actually thinking, like, why is this... Like, why are skinheads? Like, why aren't they wearing Hitler hairstyle and this mustachy thing? Don't screenshot this, please.
That's it. One vague... Oh, that's it. Your career is over in this country. Honey, I have learnt that you can zig heil to the camera and be like, I'm here and still be number one. Like... Estonia, you're never in trouble for that long. That's
horrible.
That's the country slogan. All right, no matter what, you're never in trouble for that long. So I'm good.
Okay.
Help your ratings at this stage.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
But anyway, why aren't they bringing Hitler style back?
Well, Martin Heller was certainly giving it a good go. He had that comb across.
Oh yeah, but not the mustache.
Well,
though.
True. I mean, you can't. Even he understands there's some limits to...
Could you, grow it out this thick?
I did a bit recently. I had my beard out as far as it could go. And I did that thing that all guys do is, they shave off a bit and then, show, and then a bit more and they go, And I did the Stalin across here, because I got a big bushy-ass mustache that... And my uncle... I look like my uncle and my uncle looked like Stalin... And then apparently I'm named after Stalin. So, I don't know, I'm just a whole Stalin kind of thing. Yeah. And then I got this haircut now that is combed across. If I put the jacket on, it looks like the young Stalinites.
Young Stalin was very hot, though. So, it does make sense.
Exactly.
You are a beautiful human, so...
Oh my god. Thank you. So are you.
But so was Stalin. Thank you. But so was Stalin. But not Hitler, though. So... Win some, or how was this? Sometimes lose, always win.
We're 15 minutes in, we're already on Hitler and Stalin. We've got down the road.
We are quite right on track.
Yeah. Assholes?
Yes. So, you are still doing your Comedy Estonia thing. You are the entrepreneur. You can hire staff. You can fire staff. You don't have any... people coming from upstairs you need to work with, or sometimes you probably do if you're like booking shows somewhere. You need to deal with people.
So there might be partners. I've thought about this as well in my organization. Certainly there are partners, and there are partners that have more power and more clout in that relationship. I could think of maybe we're booking some big artist and their manager has a lot of power and can say yes or no to our minuscule little offer here from Estonia. So, okay, there is that, but I see a general point. As an entrepreneur, I'm usually the top of the chain.
And you can choose.
In my world.
You can also choose not to work with this big name, but
yes.
you would rather.
Okay, we'd rather do. Yeah, yes, certainly we are free to do what we want. Yes.
So, but do you have like this asshole radar? Like, what is assholery to you when we're talking about like business world or like just not relationships, but like business or like casual relationships, your like acquaintances? Like, what would be something like would scream at you like, oh my god, this person is asshole?
That's interesting because I don't have that many That's why this topic of, you said, let's talk about assholes in the workplace. I'm like, I don't know that many. And if they do, I'm real quick to cut them out.
You can choose that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a skill, or I don't know if you want to call it a quote-unquote skill, but when I'm done. And I'm real good at just saying, no.
I have the same skill. It's, I have thought about it, like maybe it's very like this, like, first of all, I think it's part of like me being very avoidant. My attachment style is avoidant because of all my childhood trauma. I tend to like not like people getting very close to me anyway, so it's very easy for me when I say a problem, I will just like, nope, I'm out. But also I think it's kind of like the older you get, you just don't have time or the energy for this bullshit. And if I can choose, I would rather choose like pleasant experiences.
Of course.
But that's not always very, like, you can't grow. That's my problem.
You can't grow. Okay, so if you just choose, you say, I'm not working with this person, not working with that person.
Yeah, if you're only like surrounding yourself with nice experiences, then you would probably be stuck.
Okay, so in your work, because you work in a larger organization across many varied things, you're sort of saying that you're more likely to come across, there are people that you have to work with, but you just can't avoid it. It's a big company, there's a lot of different people there.
I have seen a lot of very different management styles, I would say is the right word. I have worked with many managers or like higher ups, and I have always prided myself for being like a very flexible person to work with, because like I tend to choose my battles. I would much rather put my energy into something that like people can see or experience. Like I would write a column, like very angry column at someone who's saying that sex should be bad. Like there was this actual column, like someone from Postimees actually wrote a text saying that, what about people who don't enjoy sex? Why are you forcing us to enjoy sex?
Does that happen? Like, is that...
I got very mad.
Yeah. In what way? Detail how you've been forced to enjoy it.
Well, sex positivity, I guess, is making them enjoy it. And I would much rather put my energy like fighting these kinds of fights that actually have some kind of impact. And I would like to think of myself as a person who, like, I would like to be someone with whom it's easy to work with.
Okay.
And I pride myself of having a team that's very, like, that's at least what they say, that they enjoy working with me.
Okay.
And it makes my heart sing. And I was just conducting a job interview with a summer intern, and I told her that one of the experience, like, we don't pay much, but I would hope that you would get an experience that all workplaces shouldn't be unhappy, that there's actually a way to live your life, that you come to the office and enjoy the process and you're happy to come to work.
Sure.
Because I feel like there's this kind of like a trope going on that, Monday, work again. I don't feel like this. Okay. I like Mondays. I like to go to work because Mondays it's our meeting. Like I can talk to my people again. I can hear their ideas. And so I don't know where I was going with this.
There's a lot to unpack there. Okay, so we want to create a positive workplace. You want it to be nice. There's always going to be hard work. There's always going to be difficult times.
That's true.
Always going to be tough stuff. But is that environment I don't know, not a little bit toxic? How is your manager helping or your leader helping you? Are they creating an environment that gives you enough challenge? Are they micromanaging you balanced with leaving you too far alone? How do you describe it? How do you think you are on the scale of micromanager to, you know, never talking to you?
I try to not micromanage, but I think I sometimes kind of like when I go and read articles, then I tend to read them with my editor's eye, and then I'm like, oh, I would do this differently, and maybe next time you could like start off here or something like. But this is something also what an editor does.
Right, sure. Is that your job?
No one knows what my job is. Even I don't know that anymore. I think that I should motivate my people to write very good articles and bring in very many readers. But I also, like, right now I came here, I was so angry at my own podcastery, like, why am I doing this? Well, no one asked me to. I just started doing my podcast and I enjoy them immensely, and they give me so much pleasure, and it's my creative outlet. So yeah, I think if I should probably deal with my people more and less with my podcasts.
It's hard to know. It's hard to know how much to.
But I would be more unhappy, so I would be not as good as a.
There's
person.
a balance there.
Yeah.
So if you're okay, so first of all, your job probably to some part, even if it's undefined, does include editor, right? That job of they have produced something creative and it's your job to give feedback on it.
And make it better.
Yeah. Cool. So, I mean, there's certain levels. You could read that article or whatever they've done and be like, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And then maybe, you know, not sort of saying, change this now. This is feedback. That's what we want, right? And there's a certain level, and this is where you've got to sort of intuitively work it out, that there's some bits that's going to be like, look, nah, that, you know, however you've done it in that first paragraph, we can't have that. That doesn't work. Here's some technical reasons, blah, blah, blah. Later on, you made a stylistic choice. You know, think about that. Let's run with it, but consider these other angles. And when you give them, you need to give them this feedback, but then maybe not complain when they don't do every single one.
Yeah, that's true, because it's still going to be their name under this article, and in the end they are going to be responsible. But also, in the end, I will be responsible for everything. But
that's what being a leader is.
I know.
You are responsible for everything, but it's not about you.
Yeah, and I hate it sometimes because I like when things are about me. But yeah, I have like the most problems I have had are with micromanaging leaders and I.
When they micromanage you.
Yeah,
okay.
and well, because I have also started as a reporter, and I am very quick. I type very quickly, I talk very quickly. It might not seem like this here because I'm struggling to find English words, and I like to get stuff done as quickly as possible. Sometimes quality suffers, but I don't have patience. Well, I have now more patience than before, but still. And when I started out as a reporter, then I had this kind of deal made with a newspaper that I was writing 4 articles a week because I was writing for an actual paper.
Okay, yeah.
And usually I finished my work about 1 p.m. But I couldn't leave. I was supposed to sit in the office till 5 or 6 p.m., sometimes 7 p.m. till the editor left. I wasn't doing much. I was blogging. I was reading forums. How
is that communicated to you? This quote unquote requirement to stay there. How did you know that?
I think there were some passive aggressive notes made when I left early, or I had to have very good excuse when I was leaving, and I didn't care for it at all. And then what happened, of course, was because they noticed that I wasn't working because everything was done. They started to give me more work. But my what is this word where you like write stuff down and then you give your signature and this is a contract?
Contract, yes.
But my contract was very specific, and since I was the asshole back then, I took my contract, went to the editorial head and said, "See, my contract is like this. If you want me to work more, pay me more, or stop piling things on me." Right now, I wouldn't even dream about this, but right now, the nature of my work is also very different. Like I know that journalists can't sleep. Like my mind is always on, like searching for stories and ideas. And of course, working online, you can't have this kind of like, oh, it's 4 articles, 4 week. I can't even imagine. Like right now, 4 is like half a day's work.
Okay, that's the nature of moving from print to online. And is it that the amount of research has gone down, or just you need to turn up the? How come it's got to turn up? Are there less journalists? Is there more stuff to talk about? Are the articles smaller so you can make more of them?
Well, online articles usually are smaller and easier, but not necessarily, because if I think about the research I'm doing for Külmavärinad or Eesti Roimad, then even if I don't go and talk to people who were a part of this event that sometimes happened in 1933, I still, I have tons of research to go through, so it takes time. Still, it takes time, but also skill, and then you're quicker again. But I understand that if I I have interviewed you, and this story took me 2 days at least, because first we meet, and then we talk for a few hours. Then I go home. Usually I don't have the energy to type from the recorder. That takes, depending on how much we talk, it takes a few hours at least.
Yeah, that's terrible transcribing.
Yeah, and then you start, only then you can start with the story. And this takes, well, in the ideal world, it takes a day at least. And then another day where you go at it with a fresh eyes. So, yeah, I can see how writing only 4 articles a week, it's fine.
So how would that change now in the online or the new world for you, that you said now you're doing 4 a day? What's different that you got to talk to someone, you still got to talk to someone, you still got to have an interview with them?
Yeah, we don't have enough time or space for big articles online.
I know, there's so little room on the internet.
yeah. But it is true in a sense that people, we can see it from our analytics, how little time people actually spend in the articles. Even if you have like this great super article for them to read, and you have all these bells and whistles and the videos and graphics and everything, they get tired. They still want to, like, if there's this good story, really good interview, it's better to read it on the paper. So yeah, I still try to sometimes go and interview people and do the good old-fashioned journalism, but it takes very different kind of energy, I think. Because online it's fun, well, not always fun of course, but people were I don't know, how do you consume media, but usually we can see from our analytics again that people come in on our sites, of course when there's some kind of really big news, but usually it's 10 a.m. after they go into the office, they have the meetings, have coffee, and then they start scrolling. Yeah. And then they leave, and they are back after lunch for a bit, and then the numbers drop when people are leaving from the office, and then go up again right before bed. They start scrolling in bed before going to sleep. Yeah. So what you can't offer them something to read for 20 minutes. It should be 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Does Postimees still print paper?
I think so.
Think so?
Well, we have this new weekend edition now that's very hot and heavy and very a lot of stuff to read.
Okay. Is it a daily still? Is there still stuff something
there
printed daily?
There still is a daily.
There is something printed daily.
Yeah, but
okay.
probably I don't. That's me speculating, but I don't think daily newspapers will be a thing in like 10 years. There still probably be newspapers. I'm pretty sure newspapers are not gonna disappear. No. They're not gonna disappear, but not maybe daily, because our daily news we get from online.
Sure.
But
and is there that much news in Estonia that we need a whole newspaper every day for it? This is my advice.
Well, there's a lot of sports going on.
Okay, true. If my advice to people, if they're feeling a bit overwhelmed, they're scrolling the Postimees or whatever sites and they're like, oh, this is trash, I don't need to know. No, this is a gossip, or this is, something I don't care about. My advice is read the English language version. Read English, English language ERR. They've got no budget. They just translate like the 4 most important articles of the day, and you're done. And you don't need any of that bullshit. I don't need to know more about the wrestler or the other thing going on or some shit the politician said. Whatever, just the 4 main things.
So you're still doing this, you're still going and reading the English Postimees. You're the one reader we have.
I don't read the English Postimees.
Okay.
Well, I think the better translations are in now, but it still seems like those articles are like 2 days old by the time.
Might be, I'm not sure. I don't know who does this. I still don't know.
The English ERR, not bad. Like, they'll have the top 5 articles every day, and they'll have something written concisely. It's not long. Not bad usually. So that's how. But there's all the gossipy things and all the bits in the middle that I don't.
Well, we
get
have
to see.
Estonian World though. I think it's not we, but Estonia has Estonian World, the publication I think it's aimed at expats. I
think my mum reads that. I don't know.
Okay.
It could be, but again, even Estonian World is not pumping out how many maybe a few. I don't know, is a couple a day?
I think so. I'm not sure. Though.
Sure, fine. 5 a day, cool. Over the whole day, 5 pieces of new information. That's fine. I can deal with that.
Well, and if I hire a new reporter, I usually tell them that you should be capable putting out. Well, now I say 5 or 6. I used to say 8.
Wow.
And we have, like at Sõbranna, we have 3 or 4 people plus me, because if I write, I also write to Sõbranna, because it's the pink or the purple journalism is where my heart is.
Purple journalism?
Well, our logos used to be...
Oh, okay. I thought there was different colors mean different things.
I wouldn't be surprised if it would be like this, but not to my knowledge.
Okay.
So yeah, if you have like 3 or 4 persons in this small editorial, each of them are putting out 5 a day. It's already 20 a day. You have something to read at least once every hour, and
that's the business. That's the new business model of organizations like yours. That there's just got to be something to keep us going.
You always have to have something new, and you also have to think about the readers that are only coming once a day. That means that you can't drown the important stuff with all the new stuff that's coming on, because you need to show the important stuff to someone who's maybe only coming to check in the evening. Okay. So that's the challenge, to find the balance, how to put the stories on our front page so that they would find the important ones, but also the ones who are coming back often wouldn't feel like, oh, I've seen this already. So it's very interesting, actually.
Tough. Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's an interesting transition watching the mainstream media. It's like watching taxi drivers try to adapt.
Actually, no. I mean, you have to remember this, because you moved to Estonia when we still had to call taxis using our phones.
Absolutely, I remember this. Yes.
Neanderthals.
Sure. Yeah.
And I remember I was living in Turkey, and I remember I was dreaming about this. Like, why wouldn't anyone think of this? How, like, I wanted to use text messages to call cabs, and when I had few cab drivers who gave me their numbers, then I did exactly that. I was texting, I'm driving tonight. I would like to go home at this hour, and I'm still very happy that we have apps now. I don't like human interaction that much.
No, we all want to just take it. We all want to. So, the taxi. Taxi.
They are but they are the perfect example of how you can't avoid an asshole, even if you would like to. You still have to sit in the car with this person who's clearly an asshole. And I had this one guy. I was driving, I think from Baltiam to maybe the office, and I sit in the car, and we start driving, and he says, "You're probably wondering." In my head, I'm like, "No, I'm not. I'm not." "You're probably wondering why I'm not wearing a mask." I was like, "Okay. Well, the thing is, I have this." And he had some kind of it looked kind of like this. And I was like, okay.
It wasn't, and he had something around his neck, but it wasn't like a cross. It was a...
No. It was kind of like a USB drive or something.
Okay.
And then he says that the thing around his collar, I don't know, it makes some kind of protective field around his head. And he was so calm, and he used so many difficult words, and he was saying how he's also training his, I don't know, what was it, like pituitary gland or some kind of gland he's training to stay young forever. And it all, I was listening and I was thinking, my God, that's the problem. I can say full moon, but I won't go and sell you the full moon and tell you that it will give you eternal life. That's the line for me. I can use my astrology stuff, right, but up until it is very harmful to someone. And you sitting there without your mask on, that's harmful, baby. Which he doesn't believe, though. He doesn't believe it's harmful. Yeah, he was believing in his force field. Sure, around it. But probably the force field thingy cost him some money. Someone somewhere is getting rich out of this. Okay, so he didn't just grab a random necklace and then be like, now this is my protector. He bought it from someone. Well, it might have been. Someone's making money down the line here. And that's the problem. My astrology things, in Twitter, I just saw this discussion. Someone was asking, can you honestly tell me, what is this thing with astrology with you? You seem to be a normal human person. Yeah. Well, yeah, for me it's not a science thing. It's something that helps me explain life. But I don't, with all my beliefs, I try to put it as far as it's good for me and not harmful to anyone else. And I don't think there's something nothing bad with it, but I can see how this kind of magical thinking might lead to being the one who is wearing crystals as I am, but I don't believe I have a force field. No viruses can come. It's an amazing idea that as human beings we feel out of control by all of this. Mm-hmm. And the brain has such an amazing ability to just take something out of nowhere and be like, that's the thing I can do now. I can wear the thing around my neck, and I've developed the chakras and everything's going on around me, and I'm doing that for me. And so many of the anti-mask people, they seem to be, I don't want to bang on about, you're wrong or something, but it did seem to be a way that they could take control of their situation. Yeah, and it's very human nature. Yeah, I don't wear a mask. That's what I do. I'm the not mask wearer. That's your religion now or something. Not that
apparently that was an excuse for shit before, but now it's more of an excuse. Like, I'm not a mask wearer. Like.
Yeah, but you have probably heard that now the new thing is that they are starting to wear masks to protect themselves from vaccinated people. Because the new thing is that vaccinated people emit some kind of
cool
protein, I think.
Okay,
Spiky
5G, metallic, magnetic, all sorts of stuff. Who knows?
Yeah, and they have to wear masks now because.
Great, that's cool. I mean, is that actually happening? I've heard that as well, but like.
Maybe it was a joke.
I want to see it.
Yeah, I would like to hope it's happening, but I'm not sure. We'll see. And that's the horrible, like not the only horrible part about pandemics, of course, but now more than ever you can see how many assholes everywhere are. And it's so sad because ignorance truly is a bliss. I loved living only knowing about few segments of assholes, like, okay, skinheads here, Martin Helme here, all Ekre here, and it was fine. But now it seems like everyone might be an asshole. Like,
I think something tweaked on me. I read it. It was an article. I've been doing a bit about this, and I read it 3 weeks ago about this incident where the Estonian police were chasing after this truck full of drugs on Laagri Highway. Do you know this story that happened? And there was a police chase and shit.
I just discovered a TikTok account and I went through it yesterday and I saw some kind of chases, but I'm not sure if it's...
So there was a story that happened about 3 weeks ago, and the police and the army guy, like they got the commandos there, and they're like, that's the drug truck. And so they identify the drug truck, and they, in Laagri Rimi, right? And then they all roll up, and the drug guy in the truck, he's like, oh shit, and just takes off. And like, he hits one of the police cars on the way out, takes off down Laagri Highway, there's a chase, that eventually they can't stop him, and the only thing they can do is the commandos shoot the tire of the truck out.
Oh, this one I saw, and it was the wrong truck.
It was the wrong truck.
Because they got very confused because there was a roundabout and like which way did he go, and the other one was coming and they just chose the wrong one.
They got the wrong truck. And as I understood afterwards, when they understood the police issued an apology and being paid for his tire.
As you would,
Police giving an apology. Tell that to George! Yo, George down there, welcome to Estonia, buddy!
Yeah, we have better police.
Yeah, and it's like, have those fucking mask guys got to the cops so bad? Like, because now it's like, there's the thing in the town hall, they were in the square, and it's like, oh, it's the fucking authority, and Martin Helme was banging on.
Terrorism against Estonian people.
Right, no, they told you to fucking put a mask on and stand back. Like, that was it. Like, the police are in face whatever, like, PR mode, that they're like, no, we didn't do nothing, here's money, here you go, don't talk about it, like...
But actually I think they would have paid in any scenario, even without the PR thingy breathing down their neck, because I'm pretty sure there are, like, laws that demand you, if police is destroying property, then they have to compensate it.
Well, sure, but also, this dude fucking smashed a police car and took him on a chase for a good, 10, 15 minutes, right?
And he got away, right?
And, yeah, well, they got away enough that he wouldn't...
Later they caught him, I think.
I think, as much as I understood, they get the guy, and then they're like, this is not him, but later in the day, they got the actual drug truck. And apparently that all happened again. There was a chase again. They take off. They're like, oi, not again. We can't afford this. And then they had to shoot his tire too. And then, whoo! You see the guy? Are you sure? That's... And sure, so, okay, the general idea that the cops can't come and bust down your door and,
Yeah, they can't.
Absolutely, sure. They can't just come and destroy your shit and that. Sure. But this guy just, smashed police cars, resisted a police, there's a whole list of things that he did And I understand, okay, fight or flight, sure. Like, boom, but you're 15 minutes down the Lagri highway.
Well, it's a white Bronco thing already.
When does it click in? Like, I'm not a TikTok forest brother. Like, where am I going? Where could this end up? Like, at some stage, your slow thinking kicks in.
This is the white Bronco case. It is.
Estonian OJ.
Estonian OJ.
It's just like, yes, I agree that, but that's an amazing that he kept on going so far.
Yeah,
and
he had to have a plan though.
Resisted the arrest, destroyed some police property in the meantime. It's not just like,
and also all sorts of like making other people not safe with
all sorts of shit, but still, no, we're going to let him off. And
shoot someone else.
And shoot someone else and pay for the whole thing.
But at least it was something.
That's right, and the police didn't, because there would be look at the tyranny of the police.
I don't think they did it because of that, but it's a fucking hilarious case anyway. Yeah, I was editing my crime podcast before coming here, and since the sound quality was very uneven because the ex-cop that was in studio was very soft-spoken like this, and also he kind of was afraid of the microphone, and it was a very pain in the ass. But anyway, yeah, it was very interesting again to. He actually is convicted of using too much force.
Ooh, okay.
I didn't talk to him about this case because we talked about another case, but I was thinking about this, like how he was so soft-spoken. It was hard to edit his voice. He was so soft-spoken. And this is the guy who is convicted.
Let's put it into perspective though. In what year did the misdemeanor take place, or the conviction?
2000 something. After that, I think it was 13 years ago.
Okay, so I mean that's 13 years ago you got a beating. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Like that's why I wanted to put it in perspective. Because if you had just gone 1999, I'd be like, yeah, fair enough. Apparently, you all got beatings in the 90s. Okay, that was par for the course.
But yeah, he quit police after that.
Okay.
And now he's working in Tallink, and he says he's still basically doing the same stuff.
Beating people.
Yeah, I don't know. What is this?
Fair enough. He's on the Tallink ship. There's drunk UC coming along, and he's like, all right, boys, this is the 90s. Come here. Come to the back room, UC. We're on the high seas and the open waters. You can't. This is international.
International waters, yes.
Yeah. Bam!
But yeah, I love police, as you know, probably, because I wouldn't do crime podcasts otherwise, or at least I wouldn't do it like this, spending time with police officers all the time. And I have immense respect for uniform, and I understand how schizophrenic it might feel, or hear for, or sound, sound for people who is not living in Estonia.
Yeah. Because
our country's forces are very different than they are overseas. The other sea, not your sea. What's this?
And that's really the point of. I'm still working on that bit about the drug truck thing, but that's sort of the underlying point of my whole thing. Is like, I can't believe how level-headed the police are. And I love my friend Roger Andre, one of our comedians. He's young and happy and smiley and generally a good person. And he has no fear of the police. He'll just be like, oh, there's something I have to find. Oh, excuse me, Mr. Policeman, can you help me where I need to go? I'll be like, no, run. You see the police, you go away. I've got ways on just so I don't have to encounter. The Australian attitude is if I don't need to deal with the police, just stay out of their way. It's easier. I'm not saying they're going to beat the shit out of me, but also I don't want to just present anything they could use against me. And just... It is a little bit like, I don't know, like a dog coming home from the shelter or something and realizing Estonia is my forever home now, where the police won't pick on me. Aww.
And you won't get kicked on the street. Well, you still might, but not from the police.
Who knows what could happen. I mean, in Australia, we've got just a vastly different history and relationship to the police. Your bad guys who did bad things, left. And now, or you kicked them out or something like that, where... I mean, we go back to our Australian police are directly descended, for lack of a better term, from the English soldiers who were the original police, and the English, they didn't take any shit. We've got our greatest national hero, Ned Kelly, who he was a great outlaw of the old days, very classic Robin Hood, robbed from the rich, give to the poor, took his final stand in a place called Glenrowan. He just took metal he took a bin basically, put it on his head, cut eyes out, put some just metal just on there, and just went, "You'll never take me alive." And he's one of our greatest national heroes, Ned Kelly. So that's gonna
so much sense.
Fuck with a nation. Our greatest hero is an outlaw who stood up for standing up to the corrupt police.
We have some outlaws as well, of course, because everyone has. Rummu Jüri comes to mind. He was a guy who was stealing vodka, I think.
Giving it to the poor who don't have vodka.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or something. But who is Estonians here? Kalevipoeg? Is it Kalevipoeg?
Back in the day...
Or like, who is our national hero? Might be Kalevipoeg.
But that's...
But he goes to work to Finland,
far off, okay.
Still.
But yeah, there's not that culture, because the Australian police, okay, now they're our police, but they have always... I mean, I guess maybe you can mentally go there. The Estonian police are different to whoever may have... Military is definitely separate from military, definitely separate from whoever's
Russian
been occupying,
yeah.
from... Oh, sorry, yeah.
But also, isn't Australia made out of English outlaws and English? Didn't they have to, like, they had the choice? Do you either go to the workhouse or you go to Australia?
Some did. I'm not sure all of them got such a choice or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was originally the first lot were mostly some soldiers, the convicts, then after a while some free settlers, but still this is very uncontrolled land, it's outlaw country. Yes, the soldiers, they only really control a certain patch anyway. Back in the day when they first created Australia, you could then just go and some lived off the land, some outlaws originally befriended the local Aboriginal people, some tribes were hostile but some were quite friendly. Yeah, there's even, where I grew up, it's a port, it's a very big sort of inland port that it's very shallow, but it goes inland quite far. And there's one point where it's quite close, and relatively close, I still want to say it's 500, 600, maybe a kilometer across or something. Anyway, my point is it's called Salt across this port, right? Because the thing is, so it's north of Sydney. So when the convicts were escaping, they were just trying to go north. The first difficulty is Sydney is just surrounded by the most mountainous wilderness that you could hope for. If you kind of got over that eventually, you come to this place called Port Stephens and this huge amount of water that takes a long time. And the shortest point is called Soldiers Point because that's where all the convicts would go swim the... Look, if you got over the mountains, you can swim the kilometre across to the other side.
I heard 500 kilometres.
500 kilometres, sorry, 500 metres.
Ah, okay,
sorry. Yeah.
Who would... 500 kilometers. It sounds Australian number.
Yeah, you might get to New Zealand in that way. But so many of our sort of cultural things are based off what the police controlling these convicts, and there weren't any jail cells in Sydney because where we get that's what you'd be off in the fucking wilderness after that. So take your chances if you wanted to run eventually. So that is in our.
Very strange cultural heritage to have, though. I can imagine. It's the burden in all of our shoulders. I think Estonians have different kind of burden of all the slave years or serf years would be more accurate to say, because Estonians weren't slaves. We were serfs, so stop saying we can say the N-word. No, we can't.
Daniel Weinbergs.
We weren't slaves, we were serfs, so there's a great difference. Not great. It wasn't great. It was bad.
I love it. We were also slaves, so now I say it's okay.
No, it's not. Don't be an asshole. I want to end this podcast with just simple message. fucking don't be an asshole, because like it would make everyone's life a little bit better if we just tried a little bit more. And I understand that sometimes you have to fight for yourself or something you believe in, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who think I'm an asshole because I go with my pride flag and my stop beating women and let's fight for equal rights and pussy power and feminism, and they probably think I'm an asshole. But still, like, we have so many moments in our lives where you can just like choose to be a better person. Like let this car take the road ahead of you. Don't start with the honking and with the fucks, and like just calm down, chill out, man. It's like, it's not like, it's, I don't know, like there are so many things that are actually bad in this world, and like another human being shouldn't be in this list, but I feel they are, and I want them to step out of this list.
We want everyone to relax, everyone to chill, everyone to just, because there's kind of macro and micro there. At a macro level, because like if you're waving the rainbow flag and saying, hey, rights for women and all this stuff, that's sort of, they might just see you from the outside, and that's sort of this macro, like, oh, she's an asshole. But you're kind of talking about day to day, either dealing with strangers when you're having a direct interaction with somebody, to take it easy and not...
Yeah, and also, like, don't be a part of the problem. Like, if I'm flying my flag talking about equal rights and feminism and like, let's anti-patriarchy, like, everyone should understand that we actually win from that. Like, don't be a part of the problem. Like, don't be the guy who is like beating up women or like raping women. Like, it's not like, and don't also like demand an award if you're not raping women. Like, just be a fucking normal person.
Best not rapist of 2021 goes to, thank you.
I've always been a nice guy.
Yeah, I've been working hard to not rape any women this year. Really tried. There's a few moments I was close. Oh, it was tough to get through, but I'm really happy I didn't rape anyone this year. But I guess those guys, there's this, okay, we'll go on to this one. Like, that men, even if they're not doing the things and they hear, like, men have got to change, and they're like, it gets them tight all of a sudden.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, but
and not only men, women as well.
Okay,
everyone, like, a lot of people are afraid to change. I am afraid to change. It's fucking tiring. I don't wanna.
There has to be a thing. I think people have to just not, if something is said, you don't need to react to it.
Yeah. That's very good.
I just can't
even
get my head around Twitter. That someone somewhere in the world said something, and so I have to tell them the impossibility of that. That you need to know that nobody else has said something bad about that, otherwise it deeply upsets you.
Yeah. Like, why? Like, why is the... It feels like some people have this innate need to identify themselves via giving out pessimistic and negative vibes. Like, why are you defining yourself via things you hate? Like, I know it's easier to go with like, this sucks and I'm the only normal person around here. And it's very tough to have this optimistic and positive view of things, especially now. And it's an active choice I do whenever I have the energy. Mostly I do have the energy to decide that I want to be the positive force in the world as much as I can. And it is very tiring. And you have to kind of like fight all the time to keep on smiling. But I think it's worth it. I hope
absolutely
it is.
It's worth it.
You also make the positive thing. Like, it has been your job for over 10 years now to make people laugh.
Sure, so there's the positive thing. I've been dabbling with making some YouTube videos about my other love, which is old video games.
Oh, yeah.
And that is particularly toxic. Now, I look, I don't know about every other community online, but the retro gaming, it's just because it's just autistic nerds. It's just autistic nerds who are like, no, but that's how things but that's better, and that you're wrong. And I don't know, I can't say for sure that in other communities are people as touchy it seems to be, but I can definitely see there's something a little bit autistic about a lot of nerds. I need things to be into place and they can't deal. And it definitely was on my mind making my first few videos. I'm talking about very technical topics. I know I'm not the absolute expert. I know some stuff, but I'm not the absolute expert. And just
no one needs.
Yeah, knowing how to say, well, I believe this, and as much as I have seen, and sort of, and then people just go like, why the fuck do you want to do that? And I'm like, we're fucking nerds, bro. We just find some stupid technical shit and do it. Like, why would you ever want to do this? I'm like, I just made a video, and That was pretty interesting, and I was lucky that a friend of mine is a really big retro, like a really big YouTuber for retro stuff, and he had me on his podcast, and I think this is all in my mind, but I think I made my own videos out of nowhere, so I'm a random fuck, right? Saying things that, no, that signal is 2.5 volts rather than 3 volts with the amp, so you're wrong. And eventually, and then I talked to my friend, and I had him on, and he's a big podcaster, a big YouTuber. So when I went on him, I got like a little bit of, I don't want to say credibility. Clout. A little bit, not to run the clout thing, but enough that like I no longer got the people just going, you're fucking, nah, because I was like, oh, okay, if you talk to Bob, he's all right. Or something, right? Okay. But developing this credibility, maybe it's all in my mind. Maybe I should have just been out there, who gives a fuck, but...
No, but it still works like this, unfortunately, I think. That, especially in podcasting world, I don't think I would have had so much success with my podcasts if I wouldn't have such a, how would you say, all the network I have behind me, and Postimees and the security blanket, so to say, that I am validated because I can publish my stuff on a huge media outlet. So I can't imagine, well, maybe if I would have I have been a quite famous blogger also, so maybe, well, not maybe, I'm pretty sure that if I put my mind to it, I can build my personal brand again as well. But it's still like we still need validation.
Sure.
And
we do need someone telling us that this was
that
good.
you're as beautiful as young Stalin.
Oh yes.
see what I did? I brought it all together.
It's called a callback. It's a callback. You've done the callback here.
I need to get going, I'm sorry.
That's fine. That's good. You've clocked in. An hour. I'm trying to keep the episodes to an hour. Maybe an hour and a half now they're going for.
Okay. You should have told me this before then.
I've understood that an hour is good, an hour is consumable. That's maintainable.
I live in the hellscape of Kloga, so not hellscape. The drive there in the hour at the moment is hellscape.
Oh,
so this is why I'm.
That's why you've got to go soon. Okay, I understand. I live in Lagri now, so I'm also living out there.
Oh, now I see why this truck thing is very close to.
That's right. It was me.
Because it was you.
Yeah, it was me. Picking on the fire at Comedy Estonia. Everyone knows we usually pack in something.
Everyone lives at Lagri nowadays. It's weird.
It's the place to be. I just had to. That was where my girlfriend's got an apartment out there, so I was like, cool, free rent. I'm in, so
Street,
now.
I guess.
Sorry?
Iltra Street, I guess.
Iltra Street.
Everyone is Iltra Street. All my friends are. Okay, it's not your street then.
It's just a street. Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying it's Ultra Street.
Oh, no. The name is Iltra.
Oh, we're living like ultra people in Lagri. Because all I do is I walk around all the day in these big houses. Now I have a complex that I don't own property. I don't really have much, except a company that's slowly leaking money until we can do shows. It's the only thing I've got to my name in this life. And every day I jog around watching some other big construction, some other big place.
You'll do fine.
It's fine.
It's fine.
When we're keeping it real. But Dagmar Lamp, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Oh, it has been my pleasure.
100, a quick fire, quick chat for 100. We did it. Thank you. We're gonna do more next week. Okay.
I'll be back in a year again.
Okay, let's do it. Ciao, ciao.